cable recycling. इसकी presentation सुनो.
Hello and good evening. You're watching the Policy Times, world's first policy and development media. One of the most important aspects when we call about or talk about policy progress and development and prosperity, what matters or what comes at the center stage is how do we take care of our own needs and requirements at the same time without harming the future generation that are going to come. So how much are we utilizing efficiently of the existing resources which is there for us? At the same time, we also need to take care of our future generation. Now, this we are talking at a time when the entire world is talking about Industry 4.0, where we are talking about automation, technology, massive scale of industrialization. There is a new concept which has already come into play, that is Industry 5.0. And again, on the context of Industry 5.0, when the traditional and conventional industry is talking about Industry 5.0 is a new era where machine and robot will work, hand in hand with the human being, and will better the speed and efficiency in the system of production and manufacturing. We have here a couple of individuals who are trying to say Industry 5.0 is not about all further industrialization and efficiency. It is about how do we prevent the massive amount of waste that we talk about, how do we manage the waste, and how do we, through the prevention and management, how do we lead to a better sustainable development of living. So I am really honored the person who is propagating the idea of Industry 5.0 from the development and waste management point of view, sustainable point of view, is Michael Rada, who is the traditionally called the founder of Industry 5.0 and also president of IBCSD. From India, again, the two industry baron or icon who are again trying to say that and trying to create awareness about the better living, sustainable living. I want to welcome Mr. Nimit Agarwal, the managing director of EcoX. And I also want to welcome again one of the most humble human being, Dr. Ashok Kumar, who is the vice chairman of Greenscape Eco Management. Nimitji is working in a very complete different scale in terms of contributing in the waste management. Ashokji is working in the e-waste management very uniquely. So both are extremely committed to the environment, to the cause of sustainability. With Michael today, we will try to understand how Industry 5.0 can be a game changer for India and the world. So to start off, I would request first to all of our speakers, and we also are joined with Mr. Akshay Rath. Akshay Rath is the Chief Executive Officer of EcoX. I will go to our speakers today first, and I'll request you quickly introduce yourself in just 2 to 3 minutes, and then we'll go into the subject. So I'll start with Mike.
Hello, and nice to meet you, everyone. My name is Mike Rada, and generally, I'm human. And this is the only title you will find on my business card, because I have learned that there is nothing more you can achieve in your life than to be a human. And I have decided 7 years ago, after almost 23 years in logistics and international trade, to build a wasteless world. And because nobody tried to prevent it was happen on an industrial scale, so I did. Today, 1 million tons later, and I am happy that we are leading towards a wasteless world. And I am happy that India generally is since August 21st, 2020, so for almost 1 year, is leading the journey as well, even without being noticed by many, but it is so. And trust me, I'm the one who can say, because I am the father and founder of Industry 5.0, so I can tell you that this is the truth. And I'm very happy and honored to be here today.
Thank you, Mike. I would request Mr. Nimit Agarwal to kindly give a short introduction before we start the.
Thanks, Akram. Thanks, everyone, and good evening. My name is Nimit Agarwal. As Akram has already said, I'm the founder of EcoX. We also started our journey back in September of 2020, and we have seen a lot of traction being built in India and the world globally to tackle and find out innovative ways to reduce consumption of waste, and also to find innovative ways of recycling. So we are also trying to do a bit here at EcoX. Let's just see how it goes.
Thank you so much, Nimitji. I would now request Dr. Ashok Kumar to kindly give a brief introduction. Please unmute yourself. Yeah, please unmute.
Dr. Agarwal, it's pleasure to be with you. I am Dr. Ashok Kumar, and we are into the electronic waste recycling domain. And in India, we started our journey in 2007 when the e-waste was not considered to be a business. And there was only few e-waste recyclers, and the collection was the difficult problem at that point of time. And we have thought that why e-waste should not be recycled. So we have started educating and giving the awareness to the various informal sector, kabadiwalas and other people, and started collecting the material in 2011, 12, 13. And then once the Extended Producer Responsibility Organization and Extended Producer rules have come into force by the Ministry of Electronics, Ministry of Environment. So therefore, after the awareness, when the Honorable Prime Minister in 2014 has started mentioning about the circular economy, converting from linear economy to the circular economy, people started thinking, yes, we should do something in the recycling domain, and people have started parting their assets, which has become end-of-life equipments, and they were never been able to refurbish. So, and the awareness from the government, from the private sector, from the by bringing the new rules, it has given a lot of thrust to the recycling fraternity, and a lot of recyclers have come after 2016. Earlier, it was only 100 recyclers. Now, in the electronic waste, more than 400 recyclers have come. The technology is also taking place in a big way in India. And we have also now one of the leading e-waste recyclers in India, and we are serving almost all the multinational companies in hardware domain, which are either in the consumer durables or in the IT. And there are bulk consumers who are associated with us, and we are now a leader in the e-waste recycling industry in the north of India. So this is our journey, and let's discuss that the environment and economy has to go together. If the only environment is there, there is no economy, it will not happen. So the environment and economy has to go together. And I'm 100% sure what Mr. Rada has said, that Industry 5.0 will definitely be important for all over the world, because the Paris Accord on the climate change, and we are watching the consequences of not giving due consideration to the environment in the last 2 decades. There is floods, there are fires, there are lot of problem to the humankind. So these all factors have pushed and people to think, reimagine, rethink that yes, environment has to be protected for the future generation of humankind. Otherwise, the problems are numerous. So the carbon credits, the carbon neutrality has to take place as early as possible. India has signed in the Paris that by 2030 they will be having a net carbon neutral. So it means that there will be no further carbon coming into the atmosphere. There will be no carbon emission negative. So this is a very positive aspect given by the Honorable Prime Minister. Mr. Rad will be absolutely in agreement with us that the environment, the economy, and the recycling will definitely help in achieving a net carbon neutrality. So this is our introduction. We can discuss all the issues with respect to the recycling. Thank you very much, Mr. Akram, to be having with me.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar. You are always, rich in knowledge, with knowledge. I'll come back to Michael now. Michael, let us have a quick 10 to 12 minutes, presentation or speech by you, giving a complete blueprint of Industry 5.0 that you are talking about. Then we will come to two visionary businessmen from India, Nimitji and Dr. Kumar, and we will understand that from Indian perspective and also from the global perspective, how we can take the concept of Industry 5.0 to a different scale. Because these are the visionary people who can take this initiative to a much bigger scale and much bigger level. So, Michael Rada, over to you.
So I would like to give everyone and tell everyone that Industry 5.0, I choose the name very carefully, but it does not represent the fifth industrial revolution. Because if you make the analytics of the industrial revolution, as I did for several of my keynotes, you will realize that the revolutions are shorter and shorter. Then the first one was 126 years, but the second was half. The third one was half of the second, and so on. And when you take into consideration that official introduction of Industry 4.0 by Siemens in Germany was in 2013, but unofficial 2011, but officially 2013. And I already started in 2013 with implementation of the principles of Industry 5.0 and officially launched it on just 2 years later. You see how short the revolutions are. So this is why I call Industry 5.0 the first industrial evolution ever led by man, and it has a reason. Industry 5.0 has only one role model, and this is nature. And if you look at nature, nature does not waste because it utilizes everything what is in nature, the nature can utilize. And nature is in evolution for millions of years, much longer than the human himself. So this is why I started it as an evolution. And even if somebody tries to stop it, you cannot stop evolution. You can stop revolution, but not evolution. And because I was thinking, my background is 30 years of logistics, global supply chain, global trade, and so on. So I am experienced in this field, and I was thinking, okay, Michael, there is something wrong. This is what I recognize working in factories, but what is connecting everyone? And I came to one and only thing. If I do not count money and profit, I came to one and only thing. No matter what you are doing, you are generating waste and you are wasting. In bank, you can waste your time or your money. In a battery, you can waste animals' life. In a automotive factory, you can waste a lot of packaging or semi-finished products and so on. So it doesn't matter what. but you waste. So simple it is. This is why I spent many years and implemented already, developed the methodology of systematic waste prevention, which generally change your mindset, change the mindset of people and businesses from wasteful, which means waste is normal. And unfortunately, if you go to a factory, which is starting a new project and you analyze it, you will see that automatically in every project is written, you can waste 5%. How it can be officially permitted that you can waste? It should not be like so. So I was on many similar projects in many countries, and I realized that wasting is omnipresent. So I launched a methodology, I developed a methodology, start to implement it in 2013, and I found out it works. So we continue. My third project after launch was close up of entire factory. 24,000 square meters has to be closed up and clean within 2 months' time. Everything out, because it was just rented. And even if I say, why should we remove a pallet racking system? If somebody who will come will need a pallet racking system, client says, no, it must go out. So, okay, we take it out. And we realize it, and it was a successful project. And I have learned it doesn't matter if I speak to a small factory or small business or a large one. The principles are exactly the same. You have to find out, you have to realize that something must not become waste. Just now I'm speaking so-called 6R methodology, which I have developed. Firstly, you have to recognize that something must not become waste. And trust me, it's not easy. If you waste something before, to understand that you must not waste it, it's really difficult because it's the setup of mind. The second in this 6R is to reconsider what you do with this item which you just saved. And it's even harder. But the third one I love most. Just realize your idea. What will happen if you not succeed, if you fail? You will have a waste. Okay, but still you prolong the life of the product for some minutes, some days, whatever. But if you try again and you try again, you will realize that one day there will be a product, not waste. This was generally part of a wood scrap. One production company, for this company was this size too small. So we went to the company, we went through their ways, we can say at the time, and we said, okay, it's not small, too small, so let's make something out of it. And we make mobile phone holder, just cutting the holes in the piece. And this is one made special for me with the logo of Industry 5.0. But when my client who generated before this waste saw it, he says, wow, you just make one of the best marketing product for us. Please put there our logotype. And it was the most successful product for him to give to his clients because it exactly matched the sustainability. He said before it was waste, right now it's a product. It was on every single client desk after with the logo. So what do you want more? So Industry 5.0 is changing the mindset of people and businesses. And I was building it without any funding, without any investors for 8 years. Build it as a sustainable on economical, so as ecological level. So when I realize a project, I get a profit. 80% of this profit goes back into Industry 5.0 for 8 years long. And right now, there are ambassadors in 65 countries. There are more than 1 million people who already seen what is Industry 5.0. The number is growing, and even the European Commission has included Industry 5.0 on January 7th into the Sustainable Development European Framework. And I was honored and invited last year on August 21st to deliver my final award on a Conference of Indian Industry annual conference. After this conference, after my speech, which is uploaded on my YouTube channel, you can see it until now, I got over 1.5 million views just from India. I never had something like that. I am living in a country which has 10 million inhabitants. So you know, I have from India more people coming than our entire capital has inhabitants, because we have only 1 million. So, and this resonates so strongly all across the globe that we have set up the very first Industry 5.0 ambassador in India, Shivrao Chala and 3R Zero Waste. He was the very first one. We need to test if it will work, and it works. Today, they are 65. And on Sunday, generally the 65th will join, but I know it that she will join, and it's quite interesting country. And our clients save millions of US dollars because the total financial volume, we spent 5 years to calculate this number, total financial volume of global waste prevention in industries, not counting war industry, crude oil industry, and waste industry. These three did not give us numbers, but all the rest, we are speaking about 475 trillion US dollar savings, which is 8 times the global GDP. And what is interesting, I had just last week, very interesting discussion with high-rank economists from the US. And at the beginning, he asked me, Mr. Rada, you are crazy. How Industry 5.0 can prevent 475 trillion? This is 8 times global GDP. I was silent for a few seconds, and he said, wow, I know what you did. Global GDP is counting just the trade, but you do count everything around. Because for Industry 5.0, we are not speaking only about the physical waste, about the trash. We are speaking about social waste, which are people who cannot live meaningful life and do meaningful work. We are speaking about urban waste. And you know, if you look around your cities, how many empty factories, flats, and at the same time, in the same cities, there are homeless people. And we are speaking about process waste. In Europe only, 64% of trucks are running empty. And on a global scale, more than 50% of shipping containers are carrying just air, nothing more. This is wasting. We can stop it. And as I said, I am a logistician. I am improving the global supply chain. I see the global picture. I have only one home. It's called the Earth, because there is no other. And even if Elon Musk will make 100 rockets and ship everyone will try to ship people to Mars, such a small share of people can do it. So this is Industry 5.0. It touches every single industry, every single business, because everyone, and every single person, because everyone is wasting. So we have to improve education of people. And I am saying that Industry 5.0 is generally changing the mindset of people and businesses from wasteful to wasteless. And the great about it, you can touch the result. It's not like 1.5 degree. No, you can touch it. And this makes the people, and this is power of touch. I call it power of touch because I haven't seen anything. And I had a discussion yesterday with some IT guys, very famous IT guy. And he said, Michael, you are right. I cannot touch my software thing. I feel so unfulfilled. But if I go to my garden and I dig in my garden and I pick up the cherries, I have the results in my hands and it feels very different. And this is what Industry 5.0 does. I know I do not want to live in a digital world by being myself digitalized, because I will not be human anymore. But I have the name, the title human on my business card. And trust me, every time, even now, when I say that I am human, I have a goosebumps on my skin because there is nothing more powerful. It feels strange for the first time when I stay in front of 1,000 people on a conference and I say that, and they look at me strange. But after my speech, they did understand. And some of them changed their title on their business cards as well, which I'm very happy. So this is just a short introduction what Industry 5.0 is. And because I was the first to name it, and you can find my article, which is named Industry 5.0 from virtual to physical, so very opposite way than everyone else says. And it was published on December 1st, 2015, and nobody did similar before. According to intellectual property, I have the right to call myself the founder. And I will do everything to prevent the name not to be misused, because many try to misuse it just to sell goods or robots or whatever. No. It will stay as long as I will live and the ambassador will live. It will stay the global first industrial evolution, which changed the life of all of us who are sitting in here, and I hope all who are listening. So that's just short introduction. I can speak about it for days.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, thank you, Michael. Wonderful. There are 2-3 core foundational principles which I found. Number one, you are talking about prevention. So prevention paradigm, you are taking it to a complete different level. Behavioral change. So we need to, make a lot of change at our behavioral level to prevent it. And then the second thing you are talking about, the education. So you want to educate the whole world about the behavioral change required to achieve something like Industry 5.0. And the other point you're talking about, the evolution. So normally last 3-4 industrial revolution, what we saw is all about the revolution. It has been named as revolution. These are industry revolutions. Now you are talking about, no, we don't need revolutions. We need evolution, which is more like natural. Revolution is like led by technology and industrialization. You are talking about that has been done. Now what we need to do, we need to evolve out, which normally happens in Darwin's theory, that kind of biological theory. Now, with those points, I want to come to 2 of our Indian industry leaders who have been working in this sector, who just don't have knowledge about this sector, but also passionate about bringing some change in their own way of understanding and own way of actions that they are doing. So I'll first come to Nimit Agarwalji. Nimitji, your understanding of Industry 5.0 and from India, because I think the next 30 to 50 years belong to India. So whatever India will do will become global agenda. And this is also a right opportunity, right time for us to hit the market. China has done it in its own way. America has done it in its own way. Russia did it in their own way during the Soviet Union. Now, this is the new era. What can India do? What can India, incorporate in Mumbai so that we truly become the next change agent and global leader? So, Nimitji.
Thank you, Akramji. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Rada for the great information. Sir, I would want to point out only one thing, that being human is also positive and negative, because once we talk about evolution, we are challenging all the natural courses of evolution from the past, I think, 2 centuries. So we have to be very careful about how we educate the masses and move forward in the right direction to take advantage of the evolution and to take advantage of our being human, which is we have that brain to think up there. Having said that, sir, I would start with a brief introduction about what I believe is the scenario of waste management, or let's say Industry 5.0. If we take the essence of Industry 5.0, then how and where we stand today in India. Honestly speaking, from my personal limited experience, I have been working in this waste management space for the past 11 years now. And I've got an opportunity, one of the few, I believe I'm one of the few people who have got the opportunity to visit most of the developed countries, see the ways they're tackling their waste in, how they're managing and promoting environment-friendly initiatives where they're educating people to upcycle and be part of the circular economy and put all their daily lives, the consumption which they're doing and the waste they're generating into their daily lives. So In India today, sadly, there is a lack of understanding and also the law and regulation when it comes to managing waste, or be it only tackling waste also. In India, we got independence in 1947. I think with the current ruling government, they are being very aggressive. Like Dr. Saab also pointed out, in 2014, our Honorable Prime Minister took an initiative of promoting and educating people to tackle all kinds of waste and launched a mission to clean India. So Swachh Bharat Abhiyan was that name, and we are still trying to figure out where the regulations will be put in place for execution. We at EcoX realized the need of getting the 300 million people who are working in the waste management industry in the unorganized sector to the organized ambit. India is a huge country. There are 30 million people directly working in the waste management sector today. And our aim, once we founded EcoX, was to educate these people, to make them understand the value of the work they are doing, for them to open avenues and directly connect with waste generators and earn monetary incentives, earn a higher level of monetary, realize a higher level of monetary value for the work they are doing. Ultimately, what we believe today is that everyone needs money for survival. And sadly, in the waste management sector, in the sector where people are working in the unorganized way, sadly, there is the basic necessities are not being met. And the government understands this. We are generating, if we talk about only plastic waste, we are generating 23 million tons. If we are talking about everything else, then I have the data with me in front of me. It's 26 million tons. So 43 million tons, which is the total waste generated in India. And if we talk about the numbers where we are talking about recycling, we don't have any accurate numbers today. We don't know how much we are recycling. We take a general thumb rule of 60% we recycle. This is after the KPMG report we have got done in last year, which took 6 months and a lot of effort from everyone to understand where we exactly are in India. What is the kind of waste we are generating state-wise? What is the kind of population which has been inbuilt? And we realize that there is no accurate data. EcoX is a platform where it's an e-marketplace. It's just like Amazon or any other marketplace where we are connecting the bulk generators of waste, the plastic waste generators with the recyclers of plastic waste, who are directly exchanging plastic credits and foregoing their obligation of recycling or to put their product into end-of-life application. This is the first stage of our business model, because we also want to be, it's a for-profit organization, so we need to earn money to sustain. We have 15 members in the team right now, but ultimately our macro level goal is to promote circular economy initiatives, to promote people to take care of the waste, not to use single-use plastic. Like Mr. Rada pointed out earlier, we also want to promote people to reuse products which can be reused. There should be no standardization when it comes to waste. You can't standardize and say, we have to waste this much. And we see that all around us. We see people ordering online food today. The online food industry has increased many folds after the COVID situation. They are all using disposable packaging. And all that packaging is amounting to recyclable waste because it has been mixed with 3 other things and they're not getting segregated. So our motive today is to educate people to segregate waste. We need them to segregate it in a way where it can be collected and transported to the relevant recycling facilities, to the relevant waste to energy plants, to put into end-of-life applications, and to make the residue of those plants be ethically treated and under a controlled environment and put into the landfills. When we talk about Industry 5.0, sir, sadly, I won't be able to speak much about it because these are all numbers. Like I would also want to point out, I was in this carbon credit conference in Singapore in 2018, and there were all the leaders of carbon credit market globally who were present over there, including all the financial banks, the exchanges which are working in it. One of my colleagues is running Carbon Trade Exchange from Australia. His name is Wayne Sharpie. I realized that the whole carbon credit market failed to achieve any considerate, any vital reduction in this carbon emissions, just because it was created. It was only an economical product. It was not related anyhow with what was happening on ground. If you go in detail and understand how they are generating carbon credits, it is, according to my understanding, the methodology is very different than what most of the people understand. And it takes a lot of time to generate a carbon credit. Not everyone can do that. But we have learned from that. We have created a plastic credit. We have our own methodology today. Our governments are listening to us. There is Ministry of Environment and Forest. There is Central Pollution Control Board. They are in talks with us. They are trying to understand, appreciate our hard work for the last 2 years. And hopefully we feel that India is on the right track. There are a lot of entrepreneurs coming in this space today. We have seen massive growth in terms of the waste management agencies within a year of creating the EPR laws in 2018 under the plastic waste management rules. So I think it's a evolving process, and we have to learn. And I'm looking forward to learn from Mr. Rada and implement certain initiatives in India as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Navidji, for excellently outlining, understanding the Indian perspective of Industry 5.0 and also briefly how the sector is evolving. So we'll come back to the discussion. Now I'll go to quickly Dr. Ashok Kumar. Dr. Ashok Kumar is not only just another recycler, he is a visionary man, a visionary businessman, and with excellent academic record and educational record, and also deep understanding and passion about this sector. So he has ventured into electronic waste recycling sector, not just to make money out of the business, but he genuinely wants to bring some changes. Now, Dr. Ashok Kumar, India is also witnessing a huge disruption and evolution or evolvement in this sector. The sector is maturing. A lot of policy disruptions are coming. A lot of policy initiatives are coming. Now, given the context of Industry 5.0 that we are talking, Dr. Kumar, if you're there, yeah. So, given the Industry 5.0 outlining being presented by Michael Rada, how do you see and think our Indian initiative is going to align the Industry 5.0 initiatives? How do you see India taking shape? Especially you mentioned about environment and economy has to go hand in hand. So how do you see India is going to give a different kind of leadership on this front?
Thank you, Mr. Akram, for giving this opportunity. And also, I'm very much impressed with the work which Mr. Michael Rada is doing. It's extremely, very, very appreciative work he's doing. And I must tell you that in 2016, the Honorable Prime Minister has constituted a few committees which was discussing how to do the waste and recycling in India. The first was the Swachh Bharat. He wanted to clean the country by giving awareness to the people to have their toilets. So this was his first step, where it was a very big step, and it has really helped the country to clean the things. There was a waste on the roads. There was a waste in the farm. There was a waste all over the places. So that has also been taken care. And his first initiative was well taken by the UN and the WHO. So this has also helped the country in the first phase. Second, Mr. Michael Rada has rightly stated that the waste has to be taken care. So in India, and the Greenscape Eco Management has taken a pledge that waste is a resource till the time it is wasted. So it is a very interesting thing. It's a very important slogan. The waste is really a treasure. Waste is a resource till the time it is wasted. You know, when you waste it, it becomes the waste. But before that, it is a treasure. So we are following that principle. We are also taking care of the informal sector. Mr. Rada, you will be surprised that 90% of the collection is carried out by informal sector because they are working for the last few decades on this aspect, whether it is a plastic, whether it is a electronic waste, whether it is even the clothes, whether it is any furniture. These are being taken care by a team of informal sectors who have been doing for the last few years. And it has been a very, very big business for them. But it has never been taken initiatives by the government of any government. And the government of India has taken initiatives that the informal sector should be brought to the formal sector so that their standard of living, their livelihood has to be increased. And that is the incentive that the material has started coming to the formal sector and it is becoming recycling. Because if you want to follow a principle of zero waste, you have to bring this sector together. Otherwise, what will happen? Their best part, they will take it out, whether it is copper, aluminum, or any other metals. It will be taken out. And what will go to the dumps? The plastic, the lead, the waste which they cannot sell it, right? And what will happen? It will go into the earth and it will cause humans with liver problems, kidney problems once it is burned, because it is not biodegradable. Once it is there, then there is no problem. And you must be watching in India that what is happening on the solid waste dumps. You must be watching a lot of fires happening. Why it is happening? It is not happening just for the sake of that there is a fire. There is no wood or anything is lying there. It is the fire is catching because there are lead, there are acids lying there, because they are throwing it on the dumps because they cannot recover anything out of it. When they take out the copper out of the cable, the plastic which is not usable is being sent to the dumps. So why we need that there should not be any waste? I am 100% sure Michael is absolutely right. It is all mind game. It's in the mind of people. You know, in Germany, if you waste a food, the restaurant charges you extra because they say that, okay, you have not taken the appropriate food, so therefore you should be charged more because you are taking away the food of somebody else and I do not want to waste it. So all these things happens in India. Also, the people have become very, very what you can say, there is a awareness among the people. And the government of India, the private sector, the NGOs are helping to have the awareness that no waste should go to the landfill. It is called zero waste, right? So our company has taken initiatives, Mr. Michael, in 2007, but we could not achieve our targets because people were not aware. They were not giving us the laptop, which has gone unrepairable, right? I always say there is a right to repair, but if it cannot be repaired and it becomes an end of life equipment, it should go to the recycling. So the incentives has to be given. The government has started giving incentives by way of a lot of schemes which has come in 2016. Honorable Prime Minister has constituted, Mr. Narendra Modi has constituted 11 committees, sir, which will take care of employment for more than 50 lakh people. I mean, 5 million people will be employed if that scheme is implemented. Because what is the scheme? That he wanted that in ferrous, non-ferrous, tire, lithium-ion batteries, electronic waste, plastic, wood has to be recycled. And those producers who are producing these equipments, hardware, or they have their hazardous waste inside their products, which is called ROHS. that we have to reduce the hazardous waste in all the manufacturing of the hardware. So all these items will come to recyclers. Once it comes to the recyclers, they will definitely take out the treasure, the resource, that the precious metals will be there, which can be used as a secondary raw material. So our India government and the private sector is moving from linear economy to the circular economy. We have come in the first step. So I will say Industry 5.0 has started in India. There will be no waste going to the landfill by 2030. This is the pledge of the government of India. And with this 11 committees, which are very important, no scrap will be going into the dumps. Every item has to be recycled. You know, I can understand there are 0.5% waste which has to be there, but still that waste can be used. There is no doubt about it. You see that in the rubber industry, you can use even the slush to make something, right? The small tubs can be made out of this rubber, right? And even in the plastic, I can understand that multi-layer plastic cannot be recycled, but there are certain processes in Europe where they are able to convert this into the energy, which we can do also, but there is a cost, doesn't matter, but we are cleaning the environment. There is always a cost to some better thing to do. If you want to protect the environment, there is a cost. So all the producers who are producing the hardware which contains hazardous waste has to make sure that 70% of the recycling has to take place. Mr. Michael, you will be surprised by 23, all the producers of hardware, whether it is consumer durables or whether it is electronic in IT business, has to be recycled to the extent of 70% of their production. If they produce, suppose if they have an end of life for 7 years, the products which they have sold in before 7 years, they have to make it that 70% of that is recycled. So if we achieve that by 2030, and in 23, it has to happen because it has become a law. And you must be aware that few countries have started making a criminal law to see that the waste is not wasted. If you disturb the environment, it will be a criminal crime, and people will be put to the task, and they will be also asked that why action should not be taken under the criminal law. So all these things are happening. The Europe has followed, that is called semi-enviro law, which I can talk to Mr. Michael Rada, and I can give him the details on that criminal cases which is happening. So my only concern is that there is a lack of awareness. If the people are given awareness, they will definitely do. They will do 10% in this year, then in next 5 years, they will be able to do it 80%, 90%. 10% people, we cannot make them to understand what is environment because they are not concerned. But still, the informal sector is coming to the formal sector in India. Any waste, you talk about any waste, everybody is getting everything out of it. We recover precious metal out of our PCB in India. Because the printed circuit board, the circuits are very important for us.
I know.
So we are recovering it. We have a collaboration with Umicore and Arobis in Germany and Belgium. But the maximum work we are doing at India, because it's a huge plan. So my only concern is that everybody has to be made aware about the waste. It is waste till the time it is not going, till the time it goes to the landfill. It is a resource before the landfill. Let's work that it should not go to the landfill. And the second thing is that the producers of the hardware are being taken into task by the government of India by framing the laws that they have to recycle 70% and they have to take back policy of their products so that it reaches to the recyclers. There are backyard recyclings happening in India, but the government's initiatives to incentivize the very good sound management of recycling is helping to increase the recycling. You will see by 2030, there will be a huge spurt in recycled material because there on the packaging of the product, whether it is any product, will contain whether this has any contents of the recycled material. Those who are having 25% of the recycled material in their products, they will be given preference, and there will be a green, what you can say, coupon on which if you buy this product which has a 25% or more recycled material in the product, they will be given discounts, they will be given coupons, they can have it, much more schemes will come. And those who does not have the green cards on it, they will not be preferred products in the market. So all these initiatives have been taken, Mr. Michael, and I'm sure the secondary raw material will take place in this part of the world. The government has already taken initiatives that the secondary raw material has to go into the major virgin products. The primary industry has to use the secondary raw material, whether it is ferrous, non-ferrous, or plastic, or tire. You know, the tire has to be recycled properly. And it is huge in India. You can see that 1.2 billion people and how many cars and how many tires are to be recycled. Even the tires are coming from abroad to recycle in India. Paralysis is being done, the scrubbing is done. So all these things are happening in a very, very fast track. And people like you have definitely made awareness among the minds of the industry that they have to think about environment. And I'm sure every good person who is a good industrialist have started thinking, giving due consideration to the environment and to see that their products are containing less hazardous material. All these things are happening in this part of the world. And we have framed a policy on the circular economy on electronic waste. It's available on the website of Ministry of Electronics and IT. If you read that, it will give you a clear-cut idea that how we are moving from linear economy to the circular economy. Nothing will go to the landfills. That is the idea. So in electronic waste, you understand that 3.2 million tons are being generated by India, and only about 1.2 million ton is being recycled at the moment by the recyclers who are considered to be a good recyclers. Rest, still it is going into the hands of backyard recycling, which will also come back to the right recyclers, or these backyard recyclers will be converted into a good recyclers and those who can be technically strong, because we are providing them some plant and machinery so that they can increase their earnings, because we have our technology by which they can recover precious metal properly. All these steps have been taken under the, as per your thing, Industry 5.0. And we are sure that once we are together, we can also learn from you that what are the processes and systems you are following to make sure that there is no waste in this, on this planet. Because there is nothing, we don't have any other planet where we can live. So why not we should protect this planet? There's no other planet where the humankind can live. So we have not to destroy, we are destroying it. So we have to be all together. Those who have similar thoughts has to pressurize the people not to disturb the environment. Let's work together and we survive. We have no other planet. So survive and awareness and also knowledge to the people who are wasting the material, any material, right? So I'm sure you will agree with our efforts, what we are doing it in India. and the government is helping us, and we are going for secondary raw material. We have given our pledge, industry, that nothing should go to the lands. Thank you very much. These are my views which I have shared with you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Ashok Kumar. Always enlightening to hear your perspectives and different, and the way you presented the government initiatives is really good. I think many government people may not be able to present the way, because you have been so actively involved into the government policy making, especially for the recycling. I'll come back to all our speakers.
And I will like to take Mr. Michael, what is your email? I will give you a few aspects which I cannot cover in 15 minutes. Definitely, I will share my views, and I will share so many things with respect to waste and its resource and resource efficiencies taken care by the industry.
Indeed. Okay, so I'll come back to all our speakers for the concluding remarks. Maybe in 2 to 3 minutes, your closing remarks or closing message, or any message for different stakeholders. So Michael will give the remarks for what would be your recommendation or message or suggestions for the governments, for industry, for the recyclers, for common citizen.
I would like to thank you for the introduction, Nimitso as Dr. Ashok. This is the answer why the adoption of Industry 5.0 was so strong and so efficient. You just answer why it was, because India was prepared. Because you did already before, you just didn't name it Industry 5.0, but you did the steps. What is maybe important for you, exactly in 1 week, in August 27th, I will deliver a final keynote speech on the Confederation of Indian Industry conference. It is the same conference which last year I started the Industry 5.0 in India generally. And this time I will speak not only about this 1 year development, which is unbelievable for me, but, and here I am touching one point, it will be the first in the world, first in the history, when the official legislation for waste prevention and wasting will be introduced. So it will be India again, India, who will get the first in the world the possibility to learn how I defined, generally we are speaking about 1 page, 10 sentences, which can be included in every single legislation. And you will see it, I will share it with you, of course, because it is important. And there is one thing you, Dr. Ashok, mentioned. You have to invest first to get something back. But there is one thing where you do not have to invest, not money. And this is the changing of mindset. Because if you would like to change the mindset of someone, you don't need money. You need a role model. You need to be the one who show it is possible. And the others, the party who is listening to you, must be able to try it free of charge, to try their own product, whatever. And if they find that it will work, you have it, you have them all. And this is why I like so much India, because India's people did not forget the past. India is one of the oldest nations in the world. And you still remember the great things which has been done, that you have been able to lead the globe already long time ago. And right now, I do fully agree with you, all of you, that India is here to be the new leader of the world, of the sustainable world. And I would be very happy to talk to your governments, even to meet the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, to talk with him, because it is important that the waste prevention become a part of the legislation, not only waste legislation, general legislation, because this will change the mindset. So this is just my short final word. And I really thank you for all the information you deliver, because you deliver me the proof that choosing India to be the first one was really, I cannot do better choice. Thanks a lot.
Indeed, Michael. Thank you so much. A wonderful suggestion you gave that now this waste prevention should be part of general legislation. I think we'll be very happy to work on that. I'll come to Nimit Agarwalji. Your final remarks and any message for people.
I would want to say that being in the industry, we have also recycled more than 1 million tons of PET plastic waste and converted them into polyester staple fiber in the last 10 years in India and sold it globally. I feel that there is a lot of intervention which is needed by the government. I have personally working in this industry, being the second largest recycler in India. I don't see any support from the government today. I don't see any valuable discussion happening in terms of what is the monetary incentive, and we need monetary incentive. There is no doubt about it. If you're not profitable, how can you move forward? How can you expand? You need money to expand. And I feel that there is a need of the hour. If you are not able to do it, like they're saying, they're doing, we had a different, another session with the sustainability head of UPL, and he pointed out GOP 26. What was that, Akramji? The last call for investing in the developing countries by the global developed leaders today in
COP21.
COP21. So they're talking about COP21. I don't know. I have stopped following them after they make all the commitments and they don't follow it. It is no point. But ultimately, I feel if we don't do it today, we are just fooling ourselves. We are fooling ourselves when we are saying that it is happening. It is not happening. There is zero intervention in India today by the government. They don't understand anything. The decision makers change every 6 months, and they are from a different industry. They don't understand plastic waste. They don't understand any kind of waste. That is a specialized subject. We need industry experts to tackle and to come out with bold reforms to tackle this kind of menace. And I don't want to say it's my personal opinion, but I feel we are lacking behind. And if we keep on track, there will be no landfill to fill, there will be no water to drink, and there will be no soil to cultivate in the next 10 years. It is not next lifetime, or it is not about the next generation, it is about today. So having said that, my closing remark is only we have to do it together. We would appreciate whatever information we get from Mr. Rada. I would be present on the 27th conference in the CII, but let's take it forward. Fingers are crossed. Thank you.
We have crossed the time. I'll request Dr. Ashok Kumar to kindly deliver any final message.
I have only one point. We have to change our mindset first. Then we will be able to change the mindset of others. You know, every individual matters a lot. We are trying 2,000 people to change the mindset at one go is not possible. We are trying that the informal sector should be given such incentives which can come from the recyclers that they give that material to them, that it does not go to the landfill. So this is happening slowly and slowly. 500,000 people are doing this thing in north of India, and they have agreed upon that because there are pockets which are helping each other, and their livelihood is increasing. Once we are able to make that their livelihood is gone up or their standard of living is gone up, they will definitely come into this group. So the mindset are changing. It cannot be done in a day, definitely, but the awareness, the change is happening. That's the best thing in this part of the world. Earlier, people were not taking any scrap and they were just throwing it, whether it is useful or not. But now everybody does not throw. They see some value and they give it to the recyclers. So definitely, Mr. Rada, Mr. Agarwal, and Mr. Akram, that change is happening and it is going with a good pace. We have to make sure that the continuity of this is happening wherever it is. If you see the Europe or the America and the North Atlantic countries have done so much waste, and it is now being seen as the consequences of fire, flood, and everything. So now India a pledge, and we are going for 2030 as carbon neutral. And the recycling is the only thing which can help to reduce the carbon emissions. And definitely all these recycling fraternity are working together. I understand what Mr. Nitin has said, that the plastic waste, we do not get any incentive. You see, the government changes, the government mindset, we cannot change. It is the process, the systems, the plastic waste recyclers have to talk to the producers that they should increase their EPR targets, and the EPR incentive should go up. If it is 2 rupees, 3 rupees, it's not worth. But definitely they should increase the incentives for the recyclers to do their recycling. And if the law is to be made, they have to put pressure and they have to make sure that the producers have some responsibility. Because what is happening? They are bringing of products which are containing the hazardous waste. So it is their duty that they should recycle. For doing that recycling, they must incentivize the people who are recycling. So it is happening. It is happening at a slow speed, but it will happen. But once this legislation of secondary raw material usage, green card, green initiatives for bringing in India, you will be surprised that every infrastructure project will have to have 25% of the material, recycled material in that, whether it is a road, whether it is steel, whether it is a copper, whether it is aluminum, it has to be out of the recycled products. Otherwise, that the government of India will not give that project to that infrastructure company. So these are the initiatives which are helping.
Yeah.
So I'm 100% sure. I'm sure that India as a government, India as a human people are working towards that.
Thank you.
The 500 has taken place.
Excellent, excellent. So we are actually running short of time. I will request Akshay to give maybe 2-3 remarks, just in 2 to 3 minutes. Akshay ji, maybe you can conclude or summarize the entire thing, but just 2 minutes.
Yeah. Thanks, Akram. It's really interesting to hear all of you and the perspective Dr. Osif has put in and the confidence of achieving India becoming waste neutral by 2030. But being in this industry for some time, what I also see a lot of difference happening. I think one thing I need to mention here is the UNDP model of creating projects on boot model, build, own, operate, and transfer to the ULBs. So any waste we are talking about, particularly solid waste management as a plastic waste, until and unless the ULBs have the right infrastructure to segregate the waste, these cannot be offsite. So segregation is the key factor which has been accepted by government as well as most of the NGOs who are operating in space. In fact, government has given guidelines to the respective municipalities, which is imposed on resident welfare societies, associations, as well as high-rise buildings that have to segregate their waste. Otherwise, municipality will not collect waste from their premises. And there are punitive measures which have been imposed. That is where the change is happening. So, I feel if we can have at least one good MRF or material recovery facility sites in each district of India, that will be good enough, wherein we will be able to segregate them, and the model can be viable by selling the segregated waste and bringing out the economic value associated with it. So that way, if you look at few more changes which are happening, Honorable Transport Minister has put a lot of emphasis plastic waste to be used in the periphery of 50 kilometers of the population, 5 lakhs under PMGSRY project. So that way, if you look at a lot of MLP plastic can be used in road construction companies, no contractors, and where we can really have a delicious use of plastic and make it, help it to make plastic. Second is a lot of small entrepreneurs, now they started making pavement tiles from MLP plastic. So that could be a very good cottage industry where I found in Kenya and in Ghana, a lot of things are happening. Similarly, in India, a lot of NGOs have started making pavement tiles, which are very interesting and highly robust and really maintainable. So that is an area where I found a lot of things are happening. Last but not the least is I feel a lot of recyclers have started building furnitures. So it could be school benches, school chairs, it could be garden benches or chairs, which are making from plastic, MLP plastics. So I believe the kind of initiative, awareness, and the interest and monitoring of MOEF, I believe we are in right direction. And hopefully next 2-3 years, these are all being reflected.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Michael Rada. Thank you so much, Nimita Agarwal.
Akramji, I'll take 1 minute.
Yeah.
I will just read the latest law which is coming and affecting the you can say the Europe. The law is called ecocide, Mr. Rad. It is ecocide. All the International Criminal Court is considering to include newly presented definition of ecocide as the 5th offense that the court prosecutes, along with war crimes, crimes against humanity, genocide, and the crime of aggression. This is why, because they say that you cannot play with the environment. If you play with the environment, this law is coming. However, it is important. But as Mr. Rudd said, that humankind has to change his mind. That yes, I have not to waste first. And if I waste it, it should be utilized to the maximum.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So, Michael Rada, Nimita Agarwal ji, and Dr. Ashok Kumar and Aksharat ji, thank you so much for sharing your perspectives, making this discussion absolutely rich, intellectual, and I think giving a lot of direction as to where we can move on. We will work together to bring really consistent and practical, relevant change and action agenda for the society, for not only for our India and Europe, but also for the whole world. Let us develop a roadmap of how we can achieve Industry 5.0 for the betterment of the society. Thank you.